like out of breath. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. These are all the 20 books that I have read so far in 2023. I think I've read quite a few books and I'm excited to tell you about them. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about and ranking the 20 books I have read so far for 2023, and I'm excited to read a lot more this year, but I thought it would be kind of fun to go ahead and rank them so far and let you know from worst to best reads so far this year. My husband is also going to be making an appearance in this video, as you probably saw from the thumbnail. He is new to reading. I finally got him to pick up some books and read, which he was pretty much before pretty much against reading. Besides, I think maybe he's read one book for school. But I finally kind of got him into reading some thrillers, and I think he's starting to get more interested. He has read 3 books so far this year, so pretty much a book every month, which is pretty good for him. And he's going to be ranking his as well, so that will be very fun. Okay, so here's Mike. He's going to help me first tell you all about my rankings because I have so many books and he is under all these books. Like I said, first I am going to start out with worst to best. The 20th book in the ranking, so my least favorite book, okay? Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. If you have watched one of my monthly wrap-ups, I think it was my February wrap-up, you heard how I rated this. I gave it a 1 star. I hated this book. If you want more detail about why I hated this book, go watch that. You're kind of distracting. I'm not going to go into much detail about what each book is and explaining like the plot of the book, because I have talked about all these books in my monthly wrap-ups, most of them, I think, besides a couple books that I have read for the month of April so far. But this one is my least favorite. I despised this book. That's all I'm going to say. This is number 19, Lessons in Chemistry. This is one that I read this month, so for my April wrap-up I will go into more detail. But I was really excited to read this, and it fell really flat to me. I didn't really enjoy it. I liked some of the first part of the book, but then it just never went up from there.
Number 18.
Okay, this will actually be 18, 17, and 16 because it is the Inheritance Games series, the trilogy, and again, this was another big letdown because I really wanted to like this series. Again, I think this is in my January wrap-up if you want more details, but this is like a mystery, which I thought I would love, but I kind of paired these together because I ranked them all, I think, 3 stars. So yeah, that was one I was excited about and didn't really like.
15.
Number 15 is A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is the little novella in the ACOTAR series, and it was good, but you know, not really necessary, which sometimes what a novella is. I love this series and I'm continuing to read it, but this one definitely was just like, you know, okay, a little novella. This is number 14, If You Had Been With Me by Lauren Nowlin. Again, another one that I was really excited about, and I just particularly didn't like it. A lot of people love this book, give it 5 stars, they cry, say it's so sad. Yes, it's sad, but I wasn't really emotionally attached to the characters. It was a little bit amateur, the writing, to me. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So I guess when books kind of let me down, I feel like I rate them pretty small. Number 13, we think, is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I enjoyed this book, but, you know, wasn't one of my favorite reads. But I haven't read any more Emily Henry books, and I know she has a new book coming out this month, so I am excited to read more of her books because, again, this was my first and only one, and I liked it, but just I liked books a lot more that I read so far this year. Number 12 is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This was such a cute little romance book. Again, I kind of liked the first half a lot better than the second half, but a cute, still, little romance and a really cool concept. If you don't know what this is, read a little bit more into it because it was a fun concept. Number 11 is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is my first and only, again, Riley Sager book, and I really enjoyed this one. It was a little bit dark towards the end, kind of revealing everything, so maybe read some trigger warnings. I still really liked it, but it's not one of my favorite thrillers ever, but it was a fun one. Number 10 is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I think that's how you say her name. And again, I really liked this thriller. I'm a big fan of thrillers, so you'll see a lot of thrillers in here. This one was really fun, a little bit dark, and there was quite a bit of language in here, but kept me on my toes. And there was a little bit of a twist, but you could kind of see it coming. But this one was really fun to read as well.
Number 9.
Number 9 is The No-Show by Beth O'Leary. This is my first book that I annotated, and I have a full video showing how I annotated that as well. This was such a surprise. This was a really cute book. I thought it was going to be a fluffy romance, which parts of it were, and I've said this again and again, but I really feel like this book had a lot more depth to it than what I was expecting, and there was a big twist. So this was just a really, really fun read, and I definitely suggest this if you like romance. Number 8 is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I love Lynn Painter. I read Better Than the Movies last year and I loved it. I'm going to continue to read her books. This was really cute. It was like a time loop book for Valentine's Day and it was really fun. And I've read another time loop book and I hated it, but she did a really good job with this, and yeah, I love that book. Number 7 is one of my favorite covers, if not my favorite cover ever. This is so cute and I say that every time, but this is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. Again, another book by Beth O'Leary. The No-Show was by her, so I knew I would like this book. I did. I love the characters in this book. I didn't quite like the ending, again, as much as like most of the other part of the story, but it was still a really good romance. This one didn't have as much of a twist or depth as The No-Show did, but for some reason I liked this one a little bit better. It was just a very, very cozy, fun read. Number 6 is A Flicker in the Dark, which again is one that I recently read, and I'm doing a video dedicated to this book and some others, and I think that will be up next week or the week after that. But this is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, and this is a really, really interesting thriller mystery book. I loved this book. My mom loved this book. This one was definitely really, really high rated for... Baby, you're showing them the books.
Oh, sorry.
This one was really high rated for a reason. A really good thriller if you're just wanting a thriller. This is kind of one of those classic ones. Number 5 is The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden, which is number 2 in this series right now, which is the only 2 in the series. But the first one is The Housemaid, and I highly recommend that book. That was 5 stars. This one I think I rated 4 stars because I did like the first one better, but this one was still really, really good. I love her writing and I want to read more books by her because it's just super, super quick reads. I read both this one and the first one really, really fast, and I love this series and definitely suggest this one for thrillers. And also they never got too gruesome and too dark, even though they're about killings. Like Lock Every Door, that one got pretty dark, and if you read it, you know why. But this one I feel like was just a good classic. Number 4 is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson, and the Good Girls Guide to Murder series I loved, and this was her little standalone book that she came out with, and this was just a really, really fun read as well. This is a real-time read, so you're reading within a span of 8 hours as the characters are going through it, and this is a YA book. I love YA, and again, if you just want a really good, fun, clean thriller, I definitely suggest this one. But you still have the mystery, you still have the camaraderie between the characters, the arguments, the murders. Really, really good read, and I love Holly Jackson.
This next one's a good one. Number 3.
Have you read this? No, he has not read this. This is number 3. This is Magnolia Parks, the first one in the Magnolia Parks universe series, I think is what it's called. And I did annotate this one. I loved this book, but it was hard to read in parts because of just the toxicity within the drama and everything like that. If you've read this, you know. But a really, really good read. I haven't read anything quite like this. I annotated it so much because of the author's poetic writing. But if you watched my monthly wrap-up video, you saw that there was a bunch of errors within this book because she is self-published, which errors in books really bother me. So that's why I couldn't give this one 5 stars. And at the end, it was kind of like a quick switch between certain characters with something, and I just was kind of annoyed by that. But I did love this book, and it's one of my top 3 so far for this year.
Number 2.
Big one. Number 2 is A Court of Wings and Ruin, and this is also in the ACOTAR series. And I feel like I just had to put this at number 2 because I love this series so much. I like the first and second book better than the third one. I think I rated this 4 stars. You know what? This is my only 5-star of 2023 so far. I was looking at my Goodreads. So this is a 4-star, but still highly rated, and I had to put this at number 2 because this series just holds very dear to my heart.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And if you know me, this is a big surprise because I am not a fan of other books that I have read by Taylor Jenkins Reid, but this one just blew my mind. I love this book so much. This is the only 5-star book that I have rated 5 stars for this year, and please read this book. I really, really love this book. There is drugs involved because it is about a band in the 70s, so I just kind of want to put that out there. I would not suggest this to maybe a younger crowd, But I love this book so much. So well written, great concept. There's a little twist. It's just really good. The show, not so much, in my opinion. But the book, really good. Okay, so those are my top, well, not top 20 because I've only read 20, but those are my ranking of the 20 books I've read so far for 2023. Mike is getting his huge stack of books that he's read so far for 2023, and he's gonna rank them with you guys.
All right, so these are all the books I've read for 2023. Not very many, but
more than most people.
More than most people. My goal this year is to read 15. I'm one book behind. I do have a Goodreads. I like to post on there to my 3 followers about inspirational, you know, hitting our goals, and hopefully I can read more this year. The worst book I've read this year out of my 3 is Sometimes I Lie. I basically gave this, I think, a 1 star.
You gave it 2.
2 star. Well, I was basically confused the whole time. Didn't understand it. I didn't like it. Really didn't make me want to read my 2nd book of the year, so I would never recommend this book.
Can I say something about this?
What?
I really like Alice Feeney. I haven't read this book, but I've read Rock, Paper, Scissors by her, and I really
They
like
basically tell you there's no way you can figure this book out. The way it ends is ridiculous. I just wouldn't recommend it. This is my whole
Okay. I haven't read this one, by the way, and now I'm kind of like, do I even want to read it?
Number 2 was this one. I think I gave it a 4 star.
Say what
it's called Falling by T.J. Newman. It's a little cringy, but I think after that one I just rated it high because I had very low expectations. So I think if I reread it, maybe I would only give it a 3 star, but I won't reread it.
Didn't you give it a 3 star?
I think I gave it a 4 star.
Oh, you did. Do you want to say what it's about at all?
Basically, this book's about a pilot and his family. His family gets held hostage. He is basically being blackmailed, kind of, and they want him to crash the plane or they'll kill his family. So it has an interesting story, but it was a little cringy for me.
That's like a really interesting concept, and the cover is super cool. And I think there's a 2nd book.
Yes, there's a 2nd one. Yeah, this is my 3rd book I've read, and my only 5 star. I did like this one. It was very interesting.
What is it?
A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. My only 5 star. I'm reading the 2nd one in the series now, but I did like this one.
This book, I rated 5 stars as well. I love this series so much. One of my favorite series to date, and I actually already want to reread it, and I just read it last year. But I really wanted him to read this because I figured he would like it.
And I didn't think I don't like reading. I'm still trying to get into it, but this one actually I kind of made me, I guess, want to keep reading. So
if you're new to reading, maybe that would be
a good
one.
starter book. Maybe it'll make you like reading, but my 1st book of the year was awful, and I think that really put me in a reader slump, as us bookworms say.
A book slump.
A book slump. I got in a book slump early in my reading career, but I dug out of it. This book helped me get out of the book slump.
Well,
that's
good
it.
job. I'm
only 1 book behind my goal, so I caught up.
I think I'm 1 or 2 behind as well. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing how we are ranking our reads so far. Maybe we will do like an update closer to the end of the year. I think that would be fun.
Maybe halfway through the year if I keep on reading.
We're almost halfway through the year already.
Crap, yeah.
Maybe closer to the end of the year.
You'll know, because if I'm not in the next video in a couple months, you know I hit another slump. But we'll see.
I will for sure do another ranking because that was really fun, and then you get to kind of see everything I've read this year and what are my top few and low few. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you got some new book ideas. Comment down below if you love any of the books we loved or even hated. Let's talk about it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.